Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's me, Dan Foliart, composer for the hit show Home Improvement. Over the years, a lot of people have asked me, can you walk us through how you make those things, those little songs you play when emotional stuff happens in the show? I say, sure, why not? I'll show you a couple of my favorites. This first one here is from the episode Offsides. It's when Tim installs a satellite dish and he sees, while he's doing it, he sees that Jill, his wife, is getting flirted with by her teacher, and this upsets Tim, so it's an upsetting song. It's like, you can see it kind of lingers, like, what's happening to my wife? What's going on here? But then there's another song I made, which was when Brad finally gets caught with marijuana by his dad, and his dad is upset. Tim is real mad. So Tim, right when the weed falls out, Tim spawns it, and it's like a sad moment. He's like... So you can see I played it a little bit quicker, like, it's sad, like the flirting, but it's a little bit younger, so it's a little bit quicker. Which leads me to the next song. This is the song that played right when Tim discovers that his son Mark is a goth. And Tim's sad about this, so when he finds that out, it's like... But then, it's not always that way, though. There's also the episode, like, No More Than Feelings. I don't know if you've seen this episode, No More Than Feelings. But these kids that Tim's got are real rambunctious. They get kicked out of a pizza parlor, right? And if he doesn't get to teach his boys manners, then Jill says he's got to go to the opera with her for a year. And Tim's like, no, thank you. I would just wish my boys were better behaved, which is a sad moment for Tim. So at that moment, it's a little bit more like, you see what I'm saying? But that's not all there is. I did a lot of different types of things on that show. I don't know if you've seen the episode Look Who's Not Talking. Good episode, same season. But Jill's got to present this big speech. She's a librarian, right? She's got to present this big speech, and she starts to get stage fright. So then Tim and his youngest son Mark dress up as women to help her practice while trying to clean the house. That's actually what the episode's about. And so on that one, it was kind of like a sad moment for, Tim and his son, that they got to help their mom do this thing. They were real sexist back then and transphobic. So at that moment, it was a little bit more like this. So it was like quick and slow at the same time because it involved an adult and a kid. But then there are other episodes, we got like For Whom the Belch Tolls, which is a play on words, belch like burp. That's when Tim's old college buddy comes into town, right? And when that happens, this guy starts to annoy Tim and Jill because he acts like they're still kids. And Tim's kind of got to set this guy straight after a little bit, which upsets Tim. So at that point, it's like... But then you got other episodes, you got like, you got Forever Young, which is in the same season. On that episode, Jill's friend visits, so it's not Tim's friend anymore. Jill's friend visits. And Tim's got to tolerate and stand up to her constant comments about his masculinity and his own tool show. So he gets all types of stressed, and then he accidentally glues his forehead to a table. And so that's her fault, not his. That was one of the big things about the show, is that nothing is ever a man's fault. It's always a woman's fault. Sexist show. But anyways, when he waxes his head down and this happens, he's a little bit sad. So it's like... But then there were other episodes, you got like, birds of a feather flock to Taylor, which is that they're going to be going, Jill and Tim going to be going to this opera fundraiser. But he has no recollection of Jill mentioning that they were going to be doing this, right? So they start fighting. Meanwhile, Tim helps Mark build a birdhouse, which was actually a happy moment for him and his family, the birdhouse portion of it. So at that moment, it was more like... But then there were other things going on in that show. It wasn't all just stuff about Tim. There was other things going on. For example, the episode Stereotypical. Tim purchases a new stereo set, right? But there's all these complications with the volume and whatnot. And Jill's paranoia for new gadgets, she starts suffering from that. And she develops technophobia and just starts to hate new things. That's actually what the episode's about. It's about Jill being an insane woman, which is fucked up. So this is what plays when Jill starts developing technophobia from all of the stereos. And then there's other episodes in later seasons. Once they started to get a little bit more socially conscious, they started to wake up and realize what was going down. Like, episode 113, you got Oh Brother. On that one, Tim hires his buddy Marty to rebuild the Tool Time set, right? But even though they're brothers, they're like biological brothers with each other, they start fighting, and Tim doesn't like Mark's performance. So that was kind of sad for him. So it was like... But then there were also other things going on. There was stuff that dealt with like actual real world problems, not just family stuff. Like there was episode The Vasectomy one. And in that one, Jill wants Tim to get a vasectomy, but for him, all of his friends start teasing him and mocking him because they're like, you're getting your balls snipped, which is pretty toxic, masculine, fucked up idea to have. But anyways, one of the boys, Harry, says, secretly, I actually got one myself. And so Tim gets confident, which is a happy moment. So at that moment, it sounded a little bit more like this. But then in that same episode, there was Randy, and he got voted to have the best butt by all the girls at school. But then he learned it was just a prank, which was kind of a sad moment for him. So that sounded sad in the episode. You might have heard it was like right when he discovered that. And then Brad, though, got voted best eyebrows. Or that he lost best eyebrows to a guy who has a unibrow. So Brad's like kind of ashamed a little bit. So his shame, right when he gets ashamed in the show, this little song played. But then there, you got other parts in there too. There was like Eye on Tim. I don't know if you watched that episode, but there's this TV report, right? It's done on the show Tool Time, which is a show within the show. And Jill gets angry when this hot-ass reporter starts hitting on Tim. Jill's like, that's my territory. And so she gets a fever and develops craziness after drinking Wilson's liquor remedy. So that's another episode of, I guess, women being insane, which was kind of a pattern in the show. Which is why I use this lick, which maybe sounds a little familiar at that part, right when we discover she's crazy again. It was like... And then you had stuff that was more just about like, I don't know, like serious shit, man. Like honestly, there was this episode called The Longest Day, and it looks like Randy develops thyroid cancer in that episode. And when they find out that they think it's going to be thyroid cancer, it's like... That was one of the slowest times I ever played that riff in that show. But then they discover it was not thyroid cancer, and then it's like... So I was like happier. But then there was, you had other episodes in there too. There was the episode Mr. Wilson's Opus. I don't know if y'all are familiar with this show, but Wilson starts directing Randy's school, right? The play, because he's an actor, he does drama type shit. But he takes the fun out of it, and he's making everybody in the class do acting exercises, weird stuff. And so Randy's a little upset, so it was like... As you can see, that sounds kind of sad. But then, one of the nice things about that part is that there was another episode a little bit before that one that was also about acting, and Randy doesn't want to help his mom rehearse. Doesn't want to help his mom rehearse for an audition to play Romeo in a school play, Romeo and Juliet. Doesn't want his mom to help him. Randy doesn't want Jill to help him audition to be Romeo in the school play Romeo and Juliet, because he's embarrassed by it. So when he was embarrassed, I was like, how am I going to play an embarrassing song? And that one was a little bit more something like this. And then on the last episode there ever was, they decide that Tim's gonna leave. He's not gonna stick around the town anymore. They're gonna move, and it's kind of a sad moment. Kind of marked a lot of people's childhood. When that moment happened, it was so tragic that it was like... But then it showed Wilson's face, and that part was a happy part, so it was like... See, that one was different. Anyways, my name's Dan Foliart. That's all the time I got for you. I love y'all. I'll tune in next week when I go through the rest of the episodes.